Good morning. Oh, actually, it's now afternoon. This is Mojisola Wilson of Authentic Conversations with Moji. Hope all is well. We're back again today with another episode of Chatting with the Village. And as you guys know, I love to talk, and I love to talk about Nigerians that are doing amazing things, or Nigerians that are overcoming all kinds of atrocities and issues and problem solving people. That is my passion. So today I will be chatting with Gbenga Olukosi, who is an author of a book that spoke to my heart. Give me a moment. I'll be right back while we're waiting for people to come in. All right. Hello, and how are you guys? Okay, so last week was amazing. I spent a lot of time on Clubhouse listening to different stories because I chose to do this thing called Chatting with the Village that I used to do on my podcast about 6 years ago, where I brought in different authors and different Nigerians that are doing amazing things, or just people in general that can share their stories with us, so that we can grow. You know, on this show, it's all about authentic transformations. Today's show is going to be mind-tugging, so get your tissues together. But it's also going to be exhilarating. You know, for many years, Nigerians have been leaving the countries to become successful. Nigerians, I remember asking a young girl when I was there in 2017, I'm like, what would you like to become when you grow up? What would you like to be? And sadly, she said to me, I'd like to be abroad. My heart literally fell out of my chest. And I said, you know what? We have to start to do something totally different here. It's very important that we start to share stories of Nigerians that are doing well in Nigeria. Last week, we spoke to Edem Offiong, the Nigerian table tennis Olympian, who's in Tokyo at the moment and will be going on to compete for Nigeria in the 2021 Olympics. Today, I am so honored to introduce you guys to Gbenga Olukosi, I beg your pardon. And he's in Nigeria and I'm in America. And as you all know, the Nigerian Wi-Fi situation could get a bit funky. So I'm going to ask you guys today to please share this video for me to help to promote his book. We have to continue to support people that are doing well. If you're one of the people that share the video, this live chat, we will be picking one person that will get his book absolutely free. So again, I repeat, if you are one of those people that share the video on YouTube or on Facebook, we will be picking one person out of the number of people that shared the video, and you will be receiving one of his books, amazing, empowering book, for free. Now, full disclosure, you guys know I read a lot, and I often bring you books that I have totally read. This time, because I met him last week, I have not had the opportunity to read the whole book. Welcome to Authentic Conversations, Gbenga Olukosi. How are you?
Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, Auntie Mojisola. I'm very, very fine.
Fantastic. So I heard your story on Clubhouse last week, and it just tugged at my heart. And I thought we should bring you to my audience on Facebook. Would you be kind enough to introduce yourself to my audience?
Well, thank you, everyone watching us all over the world. My name is Gbenga Olukosi, and I'm the author of the book Worth Waiting For, which is actually my personal story, my personal journey to relevance. And they call me the Africa Capacity Fearless Hunter. I see capacities, I see potentials, and this is the reason why I hunt, build, and empower for productivity. Thank you. We're going to be having a very wonderful time on this show today.
Fantastic. Hello, Tony. I see you. So please share the story you shared with us on Clubhouse that day about your journey out of Nigeria and how you ended up going back to Nigeria and how you've been able to walk into your authentic life, as in I call it your promised land because I'm a Christian. I mean, I'm a believer. So please do share that story because I think it's very powerful.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm always delighted to share my story with everyone that I come across. And it's a very, I know there's a reason why God took me through that journey. It's so that somebody out there can learn. All right. And it's all part of the 24 years that I waited to have a first degree. A lot happened within that period of 24 years. I left my secondary school since 1997, and the desire, the aspirations to become this, to become that, to make this happen, that happen for yourself, began to roll into my head. What can I do? I started laying my hand a lot of things. So one of those things that I tried out was to travel out of the country. Of course, it was not my decision. Somebody introduced me to it. Actually, my friends. And before this happened, I was not doing bad anyway. I remembered I was working with one of the very good companies in Nigeria as at that time. The company is called Cotecna. And Cotecna is a company, it's a destination inspection company. They are the one in charge of inspecting whatever that is coming into Nigeria through water, through sea. So it's a very powerful company, and I can say that I was getting paid well. The salary was good enough to at least to encourage my work there. So I was not doing bad. And it was in the middle of working there that I found out about traveling out of the country. And actually, a friend of mine introduced me to it, that we could travel out. And I loved it. I loved the idea. So how are we going to go about it? How will it happen? And he said that he was going to process an admission for me outside the country. Before you go outside the country, something must definitely take you to that country. So for me, it was a school admission. And he was able to secure an admission for me in one of these UK schools in Singapore. It's called Thames Business School. So, and at that time, Nigeria was visa free to Singapore. And the whole arrangement was on this, my friend. And he was doing all of that. So he whenever he needed any money to do any document, I gave it to him. And at the end of the day, the admission came out, and it was time for us to travel. And I was working, don't forget, I was working with Cotecna. And I said, so how am I going to do my work and this trip now? What's going to happen? And he gave me assurance that I could go ahead and resign.
Wow.
All right.
So you gave up your job?
Resign my job. Yes, of course. The least amount, the very last person in the company, let's say cleaner, was any at that time was from 50,000 and above. Nobody was any below 50K. So the company was paying well. And here, my friend told me that I could resign that job to go to Singapore, to travel outside the country for greener pasture. All right. So I summed up the courage, and I wrote my resignation letter myself, and I headed straight to my MD's office. My MD was a Kenyan, and I told him that, sir, this is new development. By the grace of God, I've been able to secure admission into an institution in Singapore, and I had to resign. This is my resignation so that I can. And he was happy for me. He was happy. He said, okay, no problems, because Cotecna Destination Inspection Company has presence all over the world, especially any country that has water connection. So he said, no problem. And he said, no problem. And when you get to Singapore, after you are done with your admission process and all of that, you can proceed to our office, our branch in Singapore, and any available help can be made for me to join the workforce there. And I was happy. So I was happy to leave the country. And again, I must also let you know that the High Commission to the Republic of Malta was a family friend then, somebody close to our family. And on this trip, I had to meet him also to just get few help. And he also used the Malta embassy's letterhead paper to give me a recommendation letter. Wow. He said, without prejudice, I can still remember, without prejudice, assist Mr. Gbenga Olukosi, who is coming to Singapore as a student of Thames Business School. So that letter was to be given to his co-diplomats for any possible assistance. So I was so sure that leaving this country was going to be very, very good for me. All right. So I had an apartment rented in Lagos, and we were doing fine. But you know, I left Nigeria with just my documents in a bag, in a small bag, with a jacket and a trouser, and I did not carry any other load. So I left the country, and the routine, when you are traveling out of the country, you need a ticket, and this is what happened in my own case. In my own case, I gave out money to this my friend helping me to process this thing, and he ended up using a credit card of somebody to purchase a ticket for me. All right. Wow. And I don't have a physical ticket. I don't have that hard copy ticket. You have to check the I was given the body pass. You have to check the system to confirm my itinerary on that flight. So he said no problem. So we moved. We the first thing is that we moved from Lagos to Ghana, because Ghana was the place to take off. So we took off from Ghana. So we came to Ghana together, and that night we were to board at Ghana airport. And it was myself together with another friend of mine. He actually arranged this trip for two of us. The same Lagos guys.
But let's be clear. Same school. Let's be clear. You were paying this person to get you admission into a college outside the country, and you also paid him to help you to secure transportation outside the country.
There was we had the money there because I was working, so I had the money to pay for all of that. So this myself and this my friend, we came to Ghana together with the person helping us to plan this trip. And when we got to the airport at that night, at the counter, I was checked. They checked my information, and they passed me to the boarding gate. And I was there at the boarding gate waiting for the aircraft to come, because it was actually coming from Egypt, so that it can take us back to. It was from Ghana to Egypt and Egypt to Singapore. Okay. So I was cleared, and I was waiting at the boarding gate for my friend to join me so that we can both wait for this aircraft. And as I was waiting there, all I had was just an announcement of my name.
Oh dear.
Within the airport environment, Gbenga Olukosi, can you please come to the check-in counter? Can you please come to the check-in counter? I could not believe what was happening. So I was already seeing Egyptian airline aircraft standing on the tarmac. I was about entering, and I just ignored that announcement. I said, look, I was even approaching the officials that, look, don't mind what they are saying. Just allow me to enter. Just allow me to go. I've cleared myself. I don't know about whatever they are talking about. But they said, no, they cannot allow me until I go sort myself out. Wow. At the counter. My friend that we left together, who was at that airport together, when it was time for his own clearing, his own check-in, they found out that somebody who has similar documents had been checked into the boarding gate. So they were just asking him that, were you together with the Gbenga inside? And he denied that we were together. You know, that was an arrangement so that it won't implicate us. So it was like, just say that you don't know me. So
you guys knew
was the right thing.
So you guys knew anyway. Yes. So whatever they were doing was illegal. Did you know that?
We were not aware. It was not clear. We just felt we were doing normal thing.
Okay.
We were doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. So my friend denied having any connection with me. The same students of Thames Business School, they left Lagos together, got to Ghana the same day, and they are going to Singapore. So how come you say you don't know this person? And that became an issue at that point, and they have to they have to stop him from entering the boarding gate. So that was why they called me back to come and resolve it. But by the time I got back to the check-in counter, they have finished checking.
Oh wow!
So everybody have gone to the aircraft. It was just me and my friend that was left at that place. Now just 3 of us. The check-in counter was already cleared. Everybody had gone. So that was the first night we passed in Ghana, and we started the journey from there. We don't have anybody, any relation in Ghana, so we had to move into town, and we started sleeping around Ghana in front of shops.
When you say around, do you mean you got hotels, or did you sleep on the streets?
No. We sleep on the streets. Wow. Because we don't know anybody. We don't have enough money to get an hotel. Oh, wow. We actually tried. So what we resolved to do was to enter into the University of Ghana. That is this central capital. That University of Ghana, Lagos is in Accra. So we enter school environment and we started life like students there. So we enter into their dormitory and watch television and enjoy with the students there. And those students, they have their own hostel, they have their room. So after they are done watching TV, they go back to their room. So we were left in that dormitory. We were left there watching. So that's where we will sleep till next day and wake up to start the hustle again. What is happening? So we were inside Ghana for weeks. After that, it was inside that Ghana, I remembered they stole my phone, the only phone that I used to connect to make calls. I just slept one night and I put the phone on my chest and I woke up, it was gone. All right. So it continued like that. Ghana, University of Ghana environment became tiring. So we had to leave the school environment because we felt that people were beginning to notice us. We could not change our clothes. We were becoming dirty, smelling. So we had to just relocate. So that was how we entered the street of Accra. And we started walking around. So the next place we could think of was a cyber cafe. We were not really going to browse overnight anyway. We just wanted to use that opportunity of night browsing to crash, to sleep over. Yeah. So we started entering cyber cafes to pass night. And after that, we started using closed shops. Fashion designer, hairdressers that closed for the day, they closed their shop. And we just use the front of their shops to sleep. That was how we were living our life, to just get things together so that we can continue. At the end of the day, anyway, we were able to get somebody that will give us accommodation. And that person that gave us this accommodation in his own residence at Ghana, in Accra, happens to be a Nigerian. And we narrated our deal. How
you froze for a second. You froze for a second. Sorry.
All right. Okay. So we narrated our ordeal. We narrated our deal with him, and he said no problem. He was going to help us. So this is a Nigerian man doing business in Ghana. So he said he was going to help us. So he called another of his friends. They started helping us. They appear to us as if they had the solution to getting out of the country. So what was going to happen was that we were asked to arrange another amount to help us afresh, to get that visa, to get a ticket for us on another airline. And we were able to raise $1,500 inside Accra. And we gave this money to our Nigerian guys. And at the end of the day, they turned out to be 419 guys.
Yeah, welcome to my world.
The whole 1,500 naira was handed over to another set of scammers. And
so now you've been scammed
twice. So they promised that no, it was going to happen. You know, the first flight was Egypt. This time around, we're going to be using Emirates Airlines. And Emirates will just take off from Ghana to Dubai, from Dubai to Singapore, because there was no direct flight to Singapore. So we agreed, okay, they were promising us, and we said, no problem, we'll be waiting. Well, at the end of the day, they were able to secure a seat for us inside Emirates Airline. But this also was without a hard copy ticket. It was still e-ticket. Second time. So they gave us boarding pass again. As a matter of fact, inside that Ghana inside that Ghana airport flight Emirates to Dubai, it was a smuggling arrangement. They had to just smuggle you from the check-in counter to the boarding gate, so that they have arranged with the police, the officials, so just allow them pass. And that was how we were able to enter into the boarding gate. We succeeded in being on board that flight, Emirates Airline, from Ghana to Dubai. At the end of the day, we got to Dubai finally.
Okay. Wow.
To continue. So we got to Dubai around 6 a.m. and it was a connecting flight. The connecting flight will begin by 9 a.m. So we had to chill inside Dubai airport. So we were there chilling and waiting for the connecting flight to come. At the end of the day, it came, and they had to do another check-in so that we can be checked into the aircraft. And as they were doing all of that, when they got to my turn, they found out that they said, "Where is your ticket?" I said, I gave them boarding pass. "Where's your ticket?" They say, "What?" Just said, "Can you please excuse us to the side?" That was how they...
You froze again.
Because they asked for ticket, I gave them boarding pass. Please excuse us. Please excuse us. So I waited. I waited by the side, and they did the same thing to my friend. That was how they invited us to a room inside that Dubai airport.
So can you hear me? Because it looks like you froze again. This is the biggest problem when I'm interviewing somebody in Nigeria.
The co-traveler. Are you with me, ma? Are you with me, ma?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you with me?
Now we can hear you.
All right.
Yes.
The co-traveler that we travel together, they have left. All right. So we were dumped inside Dubai airport. So we began another fresh life as Nigerian inside Dubai airport.
You were stuck in the airport. You couldn't leave Dubai airport because you didn't have a visa to go inside Dubai.
We don't have that visa to go into Dubai, and we don't have tickets that could make us continue to Singapore.
Wow.
All right. The arrangement was like they used credit card of someone else to purchase a ticket for us. And by the time the owner of that ticket found out that his ticket has been used, so he went to his bank to report.
The credit card, you mean?
And the bank had to block the credit card. Yeah, the credit card. So they had to block the transaction. It was obvious that it was somebody else's card they used to pay for our ticket. Now we began another life inside Dubai. We saw other Nigerians who were stranded from this country from that country. All of us gathered inside that airport.
So how long
Dubai airport was so...
How long did you spend in Dubai airport?
7 days.
Okay. Wow.
7 days inside Dubai airport. It was so big that you can remove like 30 Muritala Mohammed airports from one Dubai airport. So we were just having fun. There was no difference between day and night. Everywhere was lighted. We don't bother going into the city. So we're just there. We're just there having fun. And we were told that if the Dubai immigration officers come knocking, they want to ask us, and just tell them that your passport has been submitted to the office. Okay. Don't tell them that you have your passport with you, that your passport has been submitted to the immigration office there. So we were telling them all of that. And one particular night, I just slept off inside that airport. I just slept off. Before I slept off, we were begging to eat because there was no money to buy stuff inside the airport. No money. So we had to beg for $1, $2, 1 dirham to buy stuff, to buy Coke, to buy burger, and just live and survive. Because the money, the BTA, the basic traveling allowance that we had on us, I had $2,000 on me to always show that I have a BTA.
Right.
But you will be shocked. You'll be shocked to know that these $2,000 on me were all fake dollars. Nobody, they had an arrangement of getting it. Nobody will know.
You froze again. Are you there? My apologies to you guys that are watching. Unfortunately, when we interview people from Nigeria, part of the problem that we have with the Nigerian market is that the Wi-Fi is not as strong as it should be. So we're just going to I'll continue to speak till he comes back. One of the reasons why I started to do chatting with the village, I think about 6, 7 years ago, and it was a blog talk radio show, was because I found that the more we shared our stories, right, the more people learn, and the more hopefully it will help us to make intelligent decisions as opposed to emotional decisions. And he just popped out. I hope he will be able to come back. I heard Gbenga's story on on Clubhouse last week, and I thought it was a very compelling story that we needed to share. He originally, for those of you guys that are just joining us, Gbenga had met someone, or a friend of his, that told him that it could get him an acceptance into a school in Singapore. So allegedly he was accepted into school, and then he gave them money for a ticket, and they gave him a fake ticket. He ended up in Ghana, not being able to connect to his flight, and he ended up spending 3 weeks in Ghana, scrounging for money, sleeping on the streets of Ghana. And then he met another Nigerian person who was giving him, who allegedly was going to help him, and he handed over 1,500 for the guy to help him to get a visa, which he did. And then he later on found out that the visa that they bought, the visa and the ticket were fake. So he ended up getting stuck in Dubai. And as far as I know, from what I heard him say on Clubhouse, he ended up getting into Dubai, and he spent 7 days in the Dubai airport with absolutely no money and absolutely nothing to eat. So they had to beg for money, and they had to sleep in the airport for 7 whole days. As far as his story that I heard, he said he ended up being sent back to Nigeria. And because he had been in a way and given up everything that he had a job, he had everything, he had an apartment in Lagos. He was doing okay. He worked for a very good company that was global. So he quit his job thinking he was going to a better place. He was very excited to get out of the country like most people, and he quit his job. So now he had a job before he left. When he came back to Nigeria, there was no job. There was nothing going on. And it was very hard for him to maintain himself. And he started by going back to school. Actually, it took him 24 years to get his college degree because of the fact that he had to work and pay for his tuition. And then he had a family and things like that. I'm hoping he comes back on. So just please bear with me while I try and see if I can get him back into the studio. But the reason I invited him on the show is because he wrote a book about his experience, and he also is now a motivational speaker and a trainer. And his story is so empowering to me, and I thought you guys would appreciate it. Can you come back? Just bear with me 1 second. But the truth of the matter is that a lot of people are trying to leave Nigeria at all means instead of doing it legally. You guys know that I often talk about, my prayer for me and my family anyways, is that the journey of 10 days may not become 10 years. So while we're waiting for him to come back, I just sent him an inbox to see if he can come back. But we have to really start planning our lives and living intentionally, and making sure that the people that we surround ourselves with are people that are very ethical, are people that we know very well. And we have to understand that there's so much in Nigeria that we can build. I can't tell you the number of people that write me or inbox me because they're stuck in Dubai, or they're stuck in Libya, or they're stuck in Mexico trying to cross over to America. When if they had stayed, and I'm not saying nobody should try and get out, but you should try and get out the right way by getting a scholarship. I'm a believer big believer, because I'm a big believer in education is a passport to our freedom. I think he's back now. So 1 second, I'm a big believer in education is a passport to our freedom. And Gbenga Olukosi is back. Can you pick up from the airport?
So sorry for that break in transmission.
It's okay. That's Nigeria for us.
At that airport, I slept off one night, and
We lost you again. We lost you again. Nigeria for you. You know, with all the money people pay, with all the money people pay for Wi-Fi, you would think it would be strong enough. Are you there? Are you there? If you want to call me on the phone, if you can, let me see if you can call me on the phone. If you want to call in, I can take you on the phone. All right. So I'm going to see if he can phone in just to finish his, yeah, he's bounced off again. But the bottom line is that he ended up in Dubai. He was scammed twice by the first person that said they were getting him a ticket, as well as an admission into a college in Singapore. The college admission went through, but the same person he paid this time bought him a fake ticket. So he got stranded in Ghana. He was in Ghana with no food, no money. He slept on the streets and all that. And then after Ghana, while in Ghana, he met another Nigerian that promised to help him get to Singapore via Dubai. So he bought a ticket. He thought he had a ticket. Turned out that the ticket was fake as well. So now he's stuck in Dubai. While he's in Dubai, at some point, I believe in his story, he ended up getting deported back to Nigeria. So once he was deported back to Nigeria, he had to figure it out. So if he is able to come back in, what I'll do is I will, now what for Nigeria, man? Hold on 1 second. Let me just give him my phone number so he can call in. 20. Just bear with me 1 second. This is a problem why a lot of people don't do business in Nigeria, because nothing, you can't depend on anything. But the bottom line is that the gentleman came back to Nigeria, and once he came back to Nigeria, he had to figure himself out, because he left Nigeria with zero. He left with absolutely nothing. So because he left Nigeria with zero, he had to rebuild himself, and it took him 24 years to get his first degree. Now, the book he wrote is all about your waiting, life worth waiting for, something in that realm. He talks about his journey. He talks about the hardships. He talks about his walk. And now he goes around literally the world via video and whatnot. And he talks about his journey. He's a motivational speaker. And one of the reasons I brought him here, honestly, is that we need to stop thinking everything happens outside Nigeria. We have to start to remember that if we stayed home, we can still at least try something. And the man he's living a comfortable life now, but he could have been killed in Libya. He could have gone through Dubai, and he could have become one of the many slaves that we've heard of. A lot could have happened. The name of his book, again, the name of the book is Worth Waiting For. And the book is on Amazon. His book is on Amazon. You can buy the book. I ask you guys to share this video. And when you share the video, and I see that you share the video, it's all about empowering him. It's all about helping to get him more sales, yes. But it's also about sharing his story so that it could be a life lesson. I'm big on life lessons, and I'd rather not be the one taking the class. I'll rather somebody else take the class, right? So I figure if we share his story with a lot of people, that maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to convince others to try and focus on being the best version of themselves first, in their homeland. I know Nigeria is hard. This is a great example. I'm not saying everything is great in Nigeria. I'm saying that Nigeria is hard, but try not to put your life in jeopardy. Try not to expose yourself to people that will use you, abuse you, and take advantage of you. I complain a lot about Nigerians because I get 419 a lot because I don't know how to interact with people that are already thinking 5 steps ahead of me about how they can take advantage and how they can use people. If Gbenga can be scammed twice by his own people after living in Nigeria all his life, imagine people, young children, 14, 15, that are being approached to go to Europe to get a job. If somebody is telling you you're going to be a nurse in Europe and you've never been to nursing school, you should know automatically that that's a lie. But a lot of times people are so despondent that that I'm adding you, hopefully it works. People are so despondent that they'll do anything and they'll pay any price to get out of Nigeria. I'm going to ask you to fast forward. Thank you for coming back, by the way. And I know this is not your fault. Can you fast forward to you being at the airport and the day you had to leave?
I'm going to this direct. When I woke up, that immigration took me to the office inside that airport and was demanding to see my passport. I told him that we have submitted the passport, but he saw me with the bag of my friend. So he asked me to move back with me, following him to the office. So that bag I took with me to his office, and he sat up everything inside that bag. And at the very bottom of the bag, he found my passport together with my friend. So it looked like we were lying to him. That was, and the next thing he would do is that, oh, so lying to me, we're going to deal with you today. So he moved me to the corner and wanted to start to beat me.
Maybe if you shut your camera off, we can just do the audio for now.
Yes, I should be fine. So we started fighting inside that room. Started shouting, "What's your problem? I'm a student of same business school and I had issues with my ticket. As long as I get it rectified, I'm going to leave your country," and blah, 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 blah. And he got angry. He said, "That day, now, I am taking you back to your country." That was the beginning of my first deportation. So he walked me out of that office and he was walking me down to any available aircraft. Dubai is so blessed with different aircraft. At least 5-10 minutes, we see planes taking off, landing. So they have enough. So he could afford to put me in any of them and send me back to my country before I started creating news. So and so I just beckoned to my friend that, "Guy, they have caught us and they are deporting us." And that was how they deported us back to Ghana. So on getting to Ghana, because we had issues with the police force, the government. So they had to they want to arrest us and put us in prison. And but we were lucky to have one Ghanaians with us. So he pleaded on our behalf, and we were able to walk out of that government police issue at the airport. And that was how we found ourselves back on the streets of Ghana, begging again, trying to arrange. But this time around, this second time in Ghana, we got tired. We don't want to do traveling again. So we came back to fight this set of people that helped us, that collected $1,500. We wanted our money back this time around. And that was not going to be easy. So we started pushing them. We don't want to go again. And what this guy now did was that they said, "Okay, you guys want to call your money back, Habib? We will show you that you meet us in Ghana." And they showed us Pepema.
And these are Nigerians, right? These are Nigerians that scammed you.
These are Nigerians. These are Nigerians, man. One morning, 4 a.m., we just had a knock on the place we were harbored. And
we can't hear you. We cannot hear you. You froze. We're not hearing you, Gbenga.
Just said, the people are waiting outside. Go and meet them. And we found out that that man had been waiting with Ghanaian police officers to pick us and lock us up. So I just use wisdom to buy time so that I can tip somebody that we have been picked, and that one was success. So we were moved to Ghanaian police station, and that was the beginning of lock up inside Ghana. So we were actually locked up inside Ghana cell, and we spent
how long were you there for?
We were there for another 2 weeks.
Wow!
Before we finally got somebody to bail us out. So all this punishment, all this suffering, rubbed so much on us that we got tired and we said, see, we need to go back home now. We don't want to fight you again. You guys just leave, we are going back home. And that was the beginning of my return back to zero in Nigeria.
So now you've been deported twice, and you gave up your job, and you gave up your apartment. So now you're going back to Nigeria with zero. Zero.
So, but this my second friend, it was in that Ghana that he got a call that, see, a letter was sent to our house just now from United States of American Embassy.
Yes,
and when they opened that document, it turned out that this, my friend, had won American visa lottery.
All this suffering to get out of the country. If you had just been patient and waited for God to move.
And this, my friend, that won American visa lottery has been trying to get out of the country for over 10 years. This American visa lottery was his 10th attempt. He was his 10th trial that he got picked. So he came back to meet, finally I have something. So it was that document that he started processing. He got all the documents together, and by the grace of God today, this, my friend, is one of the officials of United States Navy.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at that.
He's doing so well in Baltimore,
right?
Exactly. He's doing so well in Baltimore, Maryland now in United States Navy. So
wow,
that helped him. He's there with his family, his wife and children, all of them relocated and are doing so well. We are still communicating. We are still wonderful. But my story is this. I did not give up. I picked up myself from the scratch again. I could not go back to where I was living before leaving Nigeria. So I had to go and squat with an old woman at Yaba. A friend of mine arranged that place for me. So I was staying with that old woman at Hughes Avenue, Yaba, Lagos. That woman was feeding me morning, afternoon, and night. So, I found out that the desire to travel out of the country was becoming a spirit. That when it entered into a man will just want to travel by all means at all costs. So that spirit did not leave me. So I was still pushing. This, my friend, was telling me, don't worry, we have one Cambodia, we have one Malaysia, we have this, we have so. We were just doing all sorts of things, recommending all of them. And at a point, God just helped me to just wake up. I said, what's the meaning of all of this? What is the meaning? So I started thinking back home. What can I do? Let me just forget about this traveling thing. Let me start all over again. That was when I remember that I used to be a drama coordinator in my church. I could act very well. So I was a deputy director of a drama department in my church. That church I was attending then. So I know I can act. So from acting, I could talk. So how do I put this into business? How could I commercialize this? And that was how business thoughts started flowing into my subconsciousness. Okay, so somebody had, okay, go ahead, do a business card as an MC, start to introduce people to what you do. They invite you for events, you can compare, you can do all of that. And I started all of that. And I started getting referrals. I remembered my first job as a voiceover artist. a small company in Nigeria was into bottling palm wine. But palm wine used to be served with calabash. But this company
the olden days,
wanted to start putting palm wine in a bottle like beer. So, and they succeeded in doing that, but they now needed to appear on. So somebody suggested, let's go and do jingle on radio. And a friend of mine recommended my name that I could do voice over jingle for them. And that was how they. I remember that I got to the office that day and they told me what they wanted to do. I said, I could do it. And I had colleagues and friends in the industry that they can work and produce a nice jingle. But they gave me the flyer and I looked through it. I wanted to call my friend. I remember his name, Samuel Oladele. I want to assist me to do this jingle together. But something you can't yourself voice and so that was how I entered into studio myself. And
because of time constraints, I needed to move fast forward a little bit, right? Because the thing is not really that clear. So let's fast forward. You're in Nigeria. You did your first jingle. Then how did you now move from that to you? Because one of the things that caught my attention is that it took you 24 years to get your first degree.
Yes.
So can we talk a little bit about that?
So jingle was just one of the engagements that I put together in. Jingle was the first one of the engagement that I put together in that my book. I was trying my hand on different capacity building engagements, different things to just build and develop myself. So I tried jingle, I tried media, I learned radio, I applied at a Nigerian broadcasting station, that is NBC, and I took a training on production. I was going for different programs, different trainings, and I was still believing that I would get admission into one higher institution that will finally deliver my first degree. And that finally happened in 2015, that I finally got admission. And this admission was actually an admission that gave me the course that I had loved and wanted to do, which is mass communication.
Right. Which you were going to go do in Singapore.
I have this of and communication, and I wanted to do things around that. So finally, I got an opportunity to study mass communication in that institution. So I was happy.
It's very important that we clarify something, right? So you tried to go to Europe many years before, and you got kicked, you got deported twice back to Nigeria.
Yes.
And then while in Nigeria, you empowered yourself by taking classes, because it's very important, because people say God did it. It wasn't just God.
Exactly.
Because God moves.
No, I did. Yes.
You had to do the work. Because I'm reading somebody's comment that says, when you allow God to take control, miracle happens. Brilliant story. Yes, it's true.
Yes,
but
it's true.
Gbenga himself went to classes. He was very humble. He did everything he possibly could. And when he moved and he acquired all the skills he needed, God started to open the doors, right? This is what I call getting the keys to your promised land, right? So keep going, Gbenga.
God gives the inspiration. Man handles the presentation.
That's right.
I know that God is taking me somewhere, but I cannot fold my hands to just keep waiting. I need to work with God to have that delivered. God will not go and write exam for me. God will not read for me to pass that exam. So I had to read. I had to go on the internet and start to learn, take courses. It was in the process I met with Dr. Gbenga who boosted my energy the more.
Yes.
I love being around training environments. I love going for workshops, seminars. I just want to hear motivational speakers speak. I just want to listen to inspirational quotes. I want to build the talent that I have in me. Yes. So I submitted myself to places like that. And at the end of the day, I was finally built. I had this confidence. This confidence came back that, Gbenga, you have what it takes to face anybody in the world.
Amen.
I told myself when I could not gain admission 1997 back, I said, look, this admission of that you could not get, don't make it a problem. Just look for how an alternative to build capacity, to have education, because education is not limited to the four walls of universities alone.
That's right.
Education is everywhere you can. So I look outside school. I look outside school environment. I want to be educated. By the time my so-called old friends will be seeing me again, I promise myself that they will meet me relevant and resourceful.
Yes.
I will be able to look them shoulder to shoulder, eyeball to eyeball, and have a solid handshake that I'm into something legit, something legal, something viable.
Let me pause you for 1 second. Let me pause you for 1 second, because it's very important that, especially Nigerians that are listening to this, it's very important that they understand that not only did you do the work to correct your steps, you also did the work to build yourself up, and that allowed God to add more on top. Is that fair? Okay.
Exactly, man.
Okay. Now let's get to the point of how you became a motivational speaker and how your book came about and what the book is about, so we can help you sell some books here.
May 25 this year, I wanted to celebrate my birthday, and I was looking at what can I use, what can I celebrate this birthday with. I am not a fan of having a birthday where you have to cook food, do parties. I want to mark it with something reasonable, something tangible, by going to motherless babies, something to give back to community. So the thought of putting my stories together came to me, that you could write a book. And I remember I started February, March, April, and May. This book was ready.
2021, so 2020.
This year, February. Wow. So this, I picked up, I sat on my laptop and I started typing everything that happened to me. And I was able to put together this fast. So I don't have problem developing content, remembering things, and putting things together. It's a gift. It's grace of God. But you need to work on that grace. You need to fan it to flame. So I've been opportune to be in places that could help me to express myself, to help my giftings speak out. And that is the result of what you are seeing today. Normally, I would not have this confidence to come on live program and express myself. School did not teach me what I'm doing now. School, I didn't learn it from university or polytechnic. I learned it on the streets, outside school education. Yes. Because education is different from school. So I put this together.
There's a lot of educated illiterates in Nigeria. They have certificates, but they're not educated.
They cannot defend it.
Exactly. Exactly. 1 second for me. Oh, hold on 1 second. Adeshola Ade says, of course, hard work works, but at the end of the day, it takes divine intervention to get to that space where hard work meets destiny, my view. I appreciate that, because one of the things that I believe in is that when preparation meets opportunity, magic and miracle happens, which is why I'm all about empowering people. I'm not about enabling anybody anymore. If you want to be empowered, that's what we do. And that's what you do as well. So you have now, Gbenga, used your story. You wrote the book. Now you've also helped to give people tips in the book, how to get to their promised land.
Yes.
Right? Because without becoming...
I talked about 24 engagements that characterize this, my 24 years of waiting. I told them that I didn't just folded my hand waiting. I did some things. I got myself busy with some things. I gave them 24 of them. If anybody can lay hands on those 24 engagements, trust me, that person will become a resourceful person and a man of relevance.
Fantastic.
I also developed 24 personally crafted quotes of mine. These were put together from my experiences, the things that happen. Because waiting period is not a wasting period.
Yes, I like that.
Period of keeping and preparation. A lot of us take advantage. We just abuse waiting moments. You can't get admission to a school one day and graduate that same day. You have to follow a process.
Yep.
So waiting period is not a curse, it's a blessing. You
Let
were
me
given
share.
that period
Go ahead,
to
finish.
do something with it, to do
Amen.
something with that period.
Let me share a story.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me share a story real quick. See,
Yes, ma'am.
for a long time, I was very successful in real estate and I was doing very well, yada, yada, yada. And then the market crashed in 2008. And my ex-husband had sold the house that my children and I lived in because his name was the only name on it. I was supposed to put my name on the deed, but I had been too busy. So he sold the house and we ended up being homeless for 7 months. Mind you, I was homeless. I had a Mercedes Benz. I was homeless. I had a Land Cruiser, and a real estate office. So in order for me to become who I became today, I went and sat in front of a financial analyst who told me that I needed to get rid of a lot of things, fluff, to be able to survive through the meantime. And what I did was I sold my cars, sold all my fancy handbags, and then I started from scratch, riding a bicycle in New York as the number one salesperson in Century 21 system, and people laughed at me. You know, one of the reasons I do this show is that I share my story and the stories of others so that people can learn from it, that wherever you are today, this is not the end of it. You know, all the time that my friends were partying and such, me, I was at Home Depot, which is like an equipment a home building shop, learning how to build houses, how to do sheetrock, how to do tiles. And they would laugh at me because look, I'm not, I'm not a butch. I'm a girly girl in high heels, but I can build you a house in 4-inch heels now. And now we're building a whole village. So it's very important to understand that when you're in the valley or when you go through a job moment, it's not because, a comma or a orange light is not a full stop. And what happens is that I find that a lot of people give up in those moments, right? And they try and be their own universe, their own God, instead of standing still sometimes and allowing God to direct them. While I was waiting for God and he told me what he told me to do, right? And I didn't listen, a lot of bad things happened to me because spirit lives within us, right? Something, Gbenga, was pushing you to take all these classes. And like you, this past pandemic, I went to the University of YouTube and I learned how to sew. Now I have a whole collection of handbags and bow ties and things like that. While a lot of my friends were home just whining, why me, why me, why me? I put myself to work. I went to Cornell University. It was about 3 or 4 months to get my certification for inclusion and diversity. A lot of the things that we go through, sometimes it's just a redirection because your promised land is yours. But you can't get to your promised land while you're chasing 5,000 other things. Sometimes we need to just stand still, right? And that's one of the things that your story helps to emphasize. That's why your story resonated with me. But one of the most important things that I need you to tell these people is that everything that you've learned, you have put in the book to share with other people, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So please give them 2 tips because of time constraint. Give them 2 tips that they will find in your book that can help them grow.
All right. Like I said, there will be a time that your world will be placing a demand on what you are sent to give them. I found out that I am actually worth waiting for. So the book is actually, I am worth waiting for. My world is waiting for me. My world is expecting me. They want to get something from me. So I don't want to show up to my world empty-handed. When it is time for me to appear to my world, what will I be giving my world? So one of the things I'm happy that I'm giving out to my world now to add to them, to add value to them, is this book. Because you can't go through this book and you will not be transformed. So what I want to give to my world is my achievement, what I've been able to express, the God-given potentials inside of me. Because I see capacities and potentials everywhere. But you've got to allow them speak. And to allow them speak, you have to maximize your waiting period. It's very, very important. You can't become a medical doctor one day. Every one of us will wait at one point or the other. Your waiting period will help you to become better, to be that best doctor. You want to be a politician, you have to wait to become that politician that will head political offices. It's a process. Don't joke with it. Take every necessary courses, every trainings, every seminar that you have to load yourself with this engagement, with these activities, because it's going to shape you and it's going to turn you out to becoming a man that your world want to see. I don't want you to appear to your world and you now be covering your face. You have to be hiding your face because you have nothing to show. That is not what the world is. Now in Nigeria, I have given up this desperation to travel out of the country. I see myself as somebody connecting to every part of the world, even from this Nigeria. So it's now Gbenga to the world. It is here that I'm going to be waiting, that all those invitations that I was running after.
You froze again, Gbenga.
That is the mentality I want every global children out there to have. That you have glory does not mean that you should just fold your hand. No, they are telling you that your waiting period is over. That wait, it will surely come. Your hands. It will not do something to your life. You can't come Nigeria. You can't be coming that there's no light, there is no data, there is all these excuses can take you nowhere. What? I can't blame my uncle spend any money on me. I can't blame my mother. I can't blame my father. I cannot blame my friends. I take responsibility. If it's going to succeed, it is me. If it's going to fail, I cause it my responsibility of whatever that happens to me. And that is what I am. There is no excuse to commit your life to the hand of people. You are the owner of your life. You are the carrier of your fortune. So live the fulfillment of what God has deposited inside of you. That is the mentality of a winner and glorious children. Enough of becoming lazy at prayer gatherings. Many of us, we go to churches, we pray, we do night vigils from 12 o'clock to 5 a.m. We pray. And the prophetic ministration was so powerful, and it left us to a state of believing that there's this magic that will happen next morning. There's this magic that will happen the next day. No, magic will not happen. As a matter of fact, anytime you open your mouth to pray to God, you have actually shot yourself in the leg. What you are telling God is that you are ready to cooperate with him. You want to buy that car. Lord, give me car. That car means you want to work with God to produce that car. What I see is that many of us lift up our holy hands at prayer foyers, asking God to bless our hands. We say, God bless us. And God said, I will bless the work of your hands. It is the work of your hand that God promised to bless, not empty hands, not empty hands. So when you lift up your hands to God in your church today, God wants to look at the hand. What does this guy have in his hand? What is in his hand that is called business or work that can use to transform his life? Does he have anything he's doing? Does he have anything that is involved with? That is what God wants to bless, not empty hand, not ordinary hand. He doesn't bless empty hands. He bless the work that is in the hand. No matter how small that work is, that is what God will use to transform you. That is your tool for answer prayer. God is not a magician. Whatever he has done for one, he can do for all. Whether you pray or you don't pray, whether you fast or you don't fast, it is the responsibility of God to do what he has promised to do. And he has put processes, actions in place. What to do, he has put them in place to make it happen. Look, whether you go to church or you go to church, God is a God of standard.
There are business for the church people.
There are many unbelievers out there. There are many unbelievers out there who doesn't know anything about our Jesus. They don't know anything about our God, and they are prospering. As a matter of fact, it is their microphone that we are using to preach. It's their pulpit that they design that we are using to minister. Let me tell you something. God is a God of standard. He respects that standard, whether you pray or you don't pray. Look, the advantage that we have as Christians is that we have direct access to God. That is why we pray. Don't put all your life on prayer. When you pray, take step. When you pray, take step. That God wants, not just Don't make yourself lazy. Don't allow prayers turn you to become lazy without taking steps. That's why we have non-entities and lazy people all around. God will help you to wake up today. I pray for you.
Amen. So now that you've shattered the table of most churches, thank you so much for that monologue.
I come in peace.
I hear you, Jerry. I've been saying this for many years, but it's very important that we have somebody that's on ground, that has walked that walk, that's sharing the gospel of work, get up and do something, and God will add more to it. And when you start to own who you are and you start to walk in your authentic skin, like you did, because before you were trying to run away from the Gbenga that God created to be in Nigeria with his family, his wife and children eventually, right? You were trying to run out of the country. When your promised land is right there, that's why it's very important to know who we are. Once we know who we are, then we can connect with the God in us. And then magic and miracles start to happen. It took you 24 years to become who you are. And young kids will be in Nigeria today talking about, I want to be like Gbenga Olukosi. Are you willing to pay the price that Gbenga paid? Are you willing to be locked up for 2 weeks in Ghana? Are you willing to be deported twice from 2 different countries, even continents? His book, you must pick up. I'm going to put the link there for you guys to buy it. But for all few people that are watching right now, please share the video. Because what happens is I'm going to pick up one person tomorrow and send you the link to the online book from Amazon for free. So share the video, support his movement. His movement is very, very empowering. His story is amazingly empowering. And he's preaching the gospel of you are worth waiting for. I'm telling you, there's a lot of things in our lives, if you look in your life, that you, if you think about it, will realize that if you had just waited a little bit. Gbenga told us the story of his friend who was being smuggled out of Nigeria, was deported with him twice. And when he got back to Nigeria, there was a letter waiting for him from the Nigerian embassy that he had won the Nigerian lottery. This is where the Yoruba people say, which is basically what they were going to Shokoto for, is in their pocket. So Abi, so Gbenga, what would you like to leave my audience with?
I would like to leave this with this note. That see, you are what we do right now. You in particular, you are the world is expecting you to manifest, to show up. Your excuses cannot bring out that manifestation. You have no look the head in your hand. You have the idea, just like it. I was amazed by the I was amazed. So people, when I see people commenting on the book, when people share testimonies about my book, I say, wow. So this people shut you down. You don't.
We cannot hear you. The connection is really bad this time.
The most respected daddy, the most respected cancer. No, you cannot. But believe yourself. For yourself.
So the connection is really bad, Gbenga. We cannot hear you. We can't hear you.
You write a book, you go to speak it. I that people not book. I will not book on because the book is so engaging. There are things that will benefit people that they are saying and want to see it. That is the ways I used to have God, so you can endow me much. All
right, so the universe has ended the show, but for all of you guys that are watching, this has been a compelling hour for me. It's been an awakening of some sort. I'm grateful that Gbenga was able to join us, even though the Wi-Fi was really bad. I'm going to ask you guys to share this video. As always, it's not for me. I don't monetize anything I do. If anything, I spend my money to get the message out, because the message is empowerment, empowerment, empowerment. And Gbenga's message is that you are worth waiting for, and you need to stop running around and trying to become something that you're really not. He's asking all of us to empower ourselves, to become the best version of ourselves, to enlighten ourselves, to educate ourselves. Education is not just in a classroom. And his Wi-Fi is really bad. But I'm going to post the link of the book on the page. I'm going to ask you guys to please share the link and have other people buy the book to show him that we support his movement of empowerment all through Nigeria, and to let him know that we believe in his movement of empowerment for all Nigerian people, especially his gospel, which is what I bought into, which is basically Nigerians can stay in Nigeria and be successful if we fix our moral compass. Because first of all, he left the country through traffickers twice, not once. He left Nigeria to Ghana through a trafficker who scammed him by giving him a fake ticket. Then he got to Ghana, he got with somebody that pretended like they were going to be helping him, and they scammed him again, and he got stuck in Dubai. And then he got deported back to Ghana, and from Ghana he got deported back to Nigeria, and it took him 24 years to become the man that he is today, which means that everything that he has been through has not gone to waste. He took the time to educate himself while he was waiting for admission into university. He left high school in 2000, in 1997. And he got admission into university in 2015. You can imagine, I know a lot of Nigerians. One of the reasons I brought you on, Gbenga, is because I even have a nephew who's now 40 years old, but he's too embarrassed to go back to university. And I'm going to send him your book. I'm going to send him your story, because a lot of Nigerians are out there thinking there's nothing for them aside of 419. And they're so fixated on how and what other people are doing that they forget that my promised land is different from Gbenga's. Gbenga's promised land is different from Adeshola Ade's. Adeshola Ade's promised land is different from Angela Oliver's. All our promised land is different. Our whole life is like a puzzle. If one piece is missing, if you're not living to your best potential, your light will not be out there to guide others to their promised land. Gbenga, I'm so grateful for you to come on to the show today. I'm sorry that the Wi-Fi in Nigeria is not working properly, but I would like to host you on a platform, on my platform, on Clubhouse, where we won't have this mbati going on. I'll talk to you on the back end about that, but your story needs to be shared, because I get a lot of inboxes from young Nigerians trying to get out of Nigeria at all costs. That's why a lot of our people are being killed in Libya. That's why a lot of the women are prostitutes all across Europe through trafficking. But we have to become accountable, because accountability is what I preach. I believe in my heart of hearts that every choice we make, if we do not make intentional choices, that we will end up derailed for many years. But the grace of God is what allows us to find our path, as long as we are willing to submit and do the right things. Gbenga Olukosi, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I'm going to take you to the back end. And if you can do me a favor, can you post the link to your book on as a comment on the threads when you come off the stage? Once you exit, if you can do that for me, I'll really appreciate it. And like I said,
the Amazon link, right?
Pardon?
The Amazon link.
Yeah, the Amazon link. Post it on there so that people that want to buy your book can actually buy the book. And for me, I'm going to buy a few of your books and give it out as gift. You have the online version as well, right?
Yes, my ebook.
Yeah, I'm going to buy both the hard copy, and I'm going to buy the online version and send some of it out to some of my people. And if there's anybody out there looking for mentorship, how can they find you?
Yes, they can connect with me on all major social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, with Gbenga Olukosi. Just the way you are saying my name, Gbenga Olukosi, just punch it on Facebook or on Instagram or on Twitter, and you can be live with me.
And you're also on Clubhouse.
On
So
Clubhouse.
please
So
follow him on
yes, on
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
He's a
Yes.
motivational speaker. He's a
Yes, on Clubhouse.
host. He's also an author. And he is okay with mentoring people, but understand
Yes.
that, you know, everything is not free anymore because you have to earn your space.
Yes.
But
Yes.
thank you
Yes.
again, Gbenga, for coming on the show. I'm going to move you back
Thank
into the back room.
It's
Thank
my
you.
pleasure.
So for all of you guys that stayed on, I'm so very grateful because, as you know me, time is the most valuable thing that we have. And the fact that you sat through the whole show today with the issues with the internet and all that, I am so very grateful. One of the most important things that I pray to God for is that whatever gives me joy, may it not give me tears. And may the journey of 10 days not become 40 years. Transformation is what we preach here. Accountability is what we preach here. And without surrounding ourselves with the right people, we will not make it to our promised land. Sometimes God picks us up from where we are, like he did me, like he did Gbenga, to put us through the valley so we can become the best version of ourselves, to be able to get the keys to our promised land. My prayer is that today be absolutely fantastic, but more importantly, may our tomorrow be better than our today. My name is Mojisola Wilson, and this is Authentic Conversations with Moji. The purpose of Authentic Conversations with Moji is so that we have authentic transformations like Gbenga. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in. And I'll see you next Wednesday for another Chatting with the Village. Namaste.